I am extremely sorry for being late. Actually, I have come down for an some urgent work somewhere, so that is why I am getting late. But I'll start right now, and maybe after 20 minutes, I'll share the slides because the slides are already prepared. And once I will be reaching back home, I think I'll be reaching in 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes. I'll start sharing the slide. By that time, we can have a direct interaction on this topic of systematic literature review. I think the three documents, all of you have received the three documents. I've shared two journal articles and a database of a journal known as FIIB, which is about the very famous and recent literature reviews which have been taken. Okay. So, for just confirm me whether all of you have received those documents or not.
Yes, sir, we have
I
Anyone just confirm me?
I don't
Okay.
think I haven't
All of
received.
you.
it is in WhatsApp group, ma'am.
Okay,
If
okay,
you
okay.
just joined
I'll
recently.
request
Okay, okay.
everyone to have that document because then it will become very easy for you. The reason being, when we talk about systematic literature review, there are some different orientations from different authors. So there is no strict guideline as such, but I'll try to stick to the one which is something which is that the two documents, the two one is an article of a faculty of IM Ranchi and the other his co-author is right now in IIT Roorkee. He's a senior associate professor, Mr. Rajiv Lochandar. The other article is of like one of my scholars and me, which have been published recently in FIIB journal, which is ABDC C with an impact factor of 2.6. So when I was going through certain sessions of literature review for myself 2 years back, one basic inference which I got from that particular session was that whenever you are writing a literature review, first you need to have a clarity whether there is an existing literature review document on that or not. The reason being, you might have heard about two words. One is systematic literature review, and the other one is known as meta-analysis. You might have heard about these two words, meta-analysis and systematic literature review. So there's a difference between both these two kind of papers. Meta-analysis one is going to work on the papers which have used quantitative aspects, and that they are going to evaluate whatever work have been done on that. And when I talk about systematic literature review, its basic focus is on identification of gap and maybe compiling the recent works which have been done. When I say work, I basically talk about the recent publications. Now again, see what basic difference is when I talk about some standards of the paper. If you see my paper as well as Rajiv Lochandar's paper, what you will find the articles which have been referred, the articles which have been cited for the study are all Scopus papers. Minimum. I'm talking about minimum Scopus / Web of Science. Uh, I hope all of you know and understand how to cross check whether a particular journal is Scopus indexed or not, and whether a journal is Web of Science indexed or not. Very simple. Either you can just go to Scopus website, or else you have a system wherein you can just log on to UGC savitriphule.com, wherein you are going to register yourself and you can cross check whether the particular journal is listed in your UGC Care 1 or Care 2. When I talk about UGC Care 1, please understand UGC Care 1 papers are technically been avoided for writing literature reviews because there is a huge base and many of those journals are substandard journals. So what I would suggest, always go for UGC Care List 2. All the journals which are by default Scopus and Web of Science indexed, they are a part of Scopus, they are a part of UGC 2, UGC Care List 2. So one thing which is a major takeaway, that never ever cite or use those papers which are non-Scopus or non-Web of Science index for your literature reviews. That is first thing. But again, saying that, this is something which is just at a very nascent stage. If you go through some very exclusive journals wherein they are talking about, maybe if it is a ABD journal, what you will find, especially in social sciences, the articles which they are referring, they are Scopus by default, Web of Science, but they are also ABDC listed, and under ABDC list, they are not talking about ABDC C also. They are talking about ABDC B or A. And there is another segregation wherein great deal of clarity here in the Western world, wherein they talk that the articles which you are referring, Scopus, I hope you also understand the categorization of Scopus. Even Scopus is having Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. How many of you are aware about this concept of Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 for Scopus?
Sir, it will
Can
be
anyone
great
just
if you
let me know?
I think
You are
there is
clear
no
about?
part, sir. It will be great if you can teach us how to identify all these journals and
Okay.
how to.
You do one thing, all of you do one thing. You are having your laptops or cell phones along with you, along with internet connection. Just open a browser and go on to it and just click on, just write, say, FIIB Business Review or any journal, any Scopus journal which you know, or Indian Journal of Labor Economics. Just write anybody's name and just write quartiles, QUARTILE, quartile. Or there's another option. You just write the name of the journal and beside that name just write Shimago Q. SCHIAMAGO, Shimago quartile, QUARTILE. Just write that. I'll also by that time write it, and if possible I'll share it on my mobile screen also. If you'll write FIIB Business Review Shimago, you will get a screen. And I've just opened it. I'll just share the screen with you. You are able to see this screen?
Yes, sir.
So in this screen, you will find there is something written as Q3. On the left hand side, bottom, you will find something which is Q3. And in Q3 also, beside Q3 also, it is writing business and international management. So this is talking about the sections, like especially in social science, you are going to have journals which are related to management. Even that management part has been segregated into different areas, like finance, HR, organizational behavior, different kind of sections. So in that one subsection, this journal is Q3. Q3 basically means that, yes, please.
Recording will be available.
That you will have
Sir,
to ask
available.
madam.
Hello.
Recording will be available, ma'am.
That okay. So when I talk about that Q1, Q2, Q3, what you will find that it is something which is, suppose there are 100 journals in that particular area, say business management or say organizational behavior, there are 100 journals. Out of those 100 journals, first top 25% is Q1, second is from 25% ahead to 50% is Q2 in terms of ranking and impact factors. So those journals which are Q1 and Q2, it is always preferred to use those journal articles for your systematic literature reviews which are Q1 and Q2. In fact, these are going to be some major exclusion criterias whenever we are going to take up research in systematic literature review. Okay, so Q1, Q2, I hope all of you would have understood. It can be easily cross-checked for every journal which you are using. Please make sure. Now see, there's another important thing. If that particular area is having many journals, suppose it is having 8,000 journals, so even a journal which is Q3 with a significant or a good impact factor, that might be considered. Now the Shimago results for this particular journal was a little old. Reason being, recently it has been improved. It has come down to Q2, and the impact factor which has been assigned to it is 2.6. So again, a small question to all of you: how many of you understand Thomson Reuters rating? Because that name has changed and it has become Clavariate. So you understand this JCR or Clavariate rating, so-called impact factor? Because when you'll go through various journals, you will find almost all journals in today's time, they will write impact factor 4.2, impact factor 7, impact factor 6. But is that impact factor actually acceptable at global standard? Because जैसे cheating होता है ना in terms of journal where we talk about those journals which are cloned journals. How many of you have heard about cloned journals? How many of you know about cloned journals? CLONED.
So
Cloned
I
journals.
think many of us have paid for clone journals and
Yes, there are many scholars who have become a victim of such cloned journals. And how these clone journals can be identified? How this clone journal can be identified? The easiest way is you go to UGC Savitri Phule and you will get to know. But there also you will get confused. Reason being, what these clone journals are doing, for example, you have a print journal, you have a dedicated ISSN number for a print journal. For the same journal, if it is an online journal, there is a different ISSN number. Please remember, if there is a journal or a book also, even a book you have ISBN number. If that book is a normal physical book, hard copy book, there will be a different ISBN number, and there will be a different ISBN number if it is an ebook. The book remains the same, content remains the same. Similarly, if there is a journal which is a physical journal or a hard copy journal, the ISSN number would be different. And if the same journal would be having its soft copy also available, there would be a different ISSN number. So what these fraudsters are doing, suppose there is a journal which is a hard copy journal and its number is suppose 1481/2231. Now what they will do, they will create an email ID, or sorry, they will create a website, and they will have the same name of the journal, maybe same cover page. They will write some articles from that, and they will send you a request, or they will have their website asking for journal articles, and they will say nominal charge, or they not write any nominal charge. Once your paper will be accepted, they will say you have to pay for open access charges. They will not say nominal charges, they will not say publication charges. They will use a word which is nominal open access charges. There are open access journals which are available throughout the world, but from day one they tell that we are open access journal, and they also tell about the various rules for exemption of open access charges or reductions or discounts or the charges. But these fraudsters, what they would be doing, they will create a website with the same name and with the same ISSN number. And now what you will do, you will submit your article will get accepted, your article will get published, and you will use that article for your recruitment or thesis submission. And the moment they will cross check it, somebody who is understanding how to cross check a journal whether it is cloned or not, they will understand that it is a clone journal, and your thesis will be rejected or your recruitment will be cancelled. Now I know many people who have become victim of it. I myself have been a victim of it in 2019. I'll tell you how. I'll not name the institute. It is an institute in Ranchi itself. They organized the international conference. So I, along with two more authors, we wrote an article, and it said that the articles which are going to be of good nature and quality, they will be selected and they will be published in a UGC care listed journals. We used to ask which journal. They used to say, okay, it is going to be a UGC care list journal. We'll let you about the name. Good enough. Once the conference took place, the article got accepted and it got published in a UGC listed journal. When I saw that UGC listed journal, I saw that journal is of geology and geography area. I was shocked because my article was on tourism and women empowerment and women entrepreneurship. And I was shocked that how can my paper of women entrepreneurship get accepted for a journal which of geology, that too being published in China. I was a little bit surprised and I started scrutinizing it. Once I started scrutinizing it, I will tell hardly in 10-15 minutes I was able to identify that this journal is a clone journal. Reason being, the original journal was a print journal If you'll see in your UGC website or UGC Savitri Phule website, what you will find, they will write the journal is print or online or both. So there it was written as print. And when I was going through the paper of mine which was published, it was on a website, online available. It was available online. Oh, that brought in some kind of confusion to my mind. Then I again cross-checked. I went through certain literature, and I was 110% sure that this particular journal is a clone journal, and my article have been printed in a clone journal. So I cross-checked with the organizers. The organizers were not willing to accept. They said that they took 2,000 rupees charge for the conference. They never asked for money as a part of publication. They said 2,000 rupees for conference charges. So many of us paid for that. Then I challenged that. They were not willing to accept. Then I wrote to UGC. You would not believe, within 24 hours, I got a surety that this was a clone journal. But unfortunately, that college or that institute was still not accepting. Then I gave them all proof in writing and on mail. And then they later on accepted, because none of the articles published in that particular journal was accepted by any institute for either PhD awarding or for recruitment. Similarly, I know about another person who got stuck in such a manner in clone journal, and he submitted his thesis. Once he submitted in thesis at his university, the university went through this check, and in the check it was found that it is a clone journal. Immediately he was given a notice that within 6 months, if you do not get your article published in a good journal. And see, there is another big problem. The moment it is published in a clone journal, you cannot submit it into another journal because it is already available online, and it will get into this matter of plagiarism. For that, what you have to do, you have to write to that particular clone journal initially and somehow need to get your article removed from the database. If that article is not removed from the database, you cannot submit that article anywhere. So I would request again, that is why I always say, please either publish in Scopus listed journals, and even in Scopus listed for charge, they'll say get your article published in Scopus listed journal. So there is another big fraud which is going on, because Scopus is also issuing a list every year. Very recently, in the month of March or February, they have come up with an updated list, and there are few agency named as Hindavi. I don't know how many of you have heard about it. It's Hindavi, Hindawi. I think more than 50 articles of Hindavi, 50 articles, 50 journals of Hindavi, they were removed from Scopus because they were charging people unnecessarily and they were publishing low quality articles. So always try to have a cross check of the journals in which you are submitting your articles. Similarly, when you are using an article for your systematic literature review, please do not use under quality articles. Please use articles which are either Q1, Q2 in Scopus, minimum Scopus indexed. Very good if it is ABDC, A or A star or B indexed, and Web of Science indexed. So always try to go for good journals and good articles. Now, saying that, when I talk about systematic literature review, how do we actually go ahead with systematic literature review? The first thing which you have to do for systematic literature review is have a topic in your mind. Suppose whatever, and the best way to start is your PhD topic. If you are, I don't know how many of you are pursuing your PhD. How many amongst you are pursuing your PhD right now? Okay, 1, 2, good enough number of people. Good enough. The best way to start is to write a literature review paper on your journal, or on your topic. Whatever is your PhD thesis topic, because that will help you in 2 ways. First, you would be able to write a systematic literature review paper also. Second, you would be able to complete almost 75 to 80% of your chapter 2, which is literature review chapter. So what you have to do is you have to collect articles. You are able to hear me? I would request all of you to please switch off your mic, because there's somebody's mic which is on, which is creating problem. Yes, thank you. So what you have to do, you have to search for articles. How do you search articles? Google, just going to Google is not going to help you out. First, let me tell you how you can get access to EBSCO or ProQuest. Any one of you whose university is providing you an access to EBSCO or ProQuest, or how many of you are registered into NDL? So if you are not having an access, you are deprived of something very good. Even if you are not having an access, NDL is something which is free of cost, National Depository Library, National Digital Library. It is under IIT Kharagpur. You can register there free of cost. Apart from that, I'm just spelling out certain names. I will request all of you to just write down these names, and today itself, after 10 minutes, I'll give you 5 minutes break so that I can just go and open my laptop and reach. So by that time, I'll request all of you to register on that databases. Once you register on that databases, what would happen? You will be able to have articles free of cost. Maybe not articles, but several articles on free of cost. Those articles which you would not be able to have, at least you will be able to read the title, abstract, and major findings of those journals free of cost. So I'm just listing down certain publication houses for which you have to register. Yes, NDL. So just write down. The first one is Taylor and Francis. TAYLOR, Taylor, and Francis, FRANCIS. Taylor and Francis. This is one publishing house which publishes n number of journals. बहुत सारे journals हैं इनके. Taylor and Francis, yes. The second one is Emerald Journals. EMERALD, Emerald Journals. The next one is Elsevier. Elsevier Journal. Then we have Sage Journals. SAGE, Sage Journals. Then we have Inder Science. IENDER Science. Inder Science Journals. Then we have another publisher which is globally accepted, which is known as IGI Global. IGI Global. Then we have another database where all of you should register is JSTOR, JSTOR. JSTOR. And there is another one which is very famous, very commonly known as Wiley, WILEY, Wiley Journals. So some places you will find it as Blackwell Wiley. Very common is Wiley, WILE. Yes, Kuldeep and few others have raised their hands. They can just put down their hands. Or is there any doubt? So what I will request all of you to immediately, any one of these journals, say start with Taylor and Francis, and later on when the session is over, you can all register yourself in all these journal bases. Apart from that, there is something which is known as OER. How many of you are aware about the concept of OERs? Open Educational Resources. Now, when I talk about this OERs, just like NDL, whatever was mentioned from IIT Kharagpur, that is a OER. Open Educational Resource, that is an OER which is from Government of India. Similarly, when you will go across and when you will search, and maybe at the end of the session I'll give you the links of various OERs of various countries. Every country is having their own OER. Malaysia, China, Britain. So what will happen, those journals or those research which have been published from the publishing houses of those countries, they will be available. So what would happen? You just need to register there. So once you register there, you will be able to have a major access to all the journal articles. Even after that, you will find there are certain journal articles which you are not able to have an access. You have another way wherein you can just write to the author. What you need to do, you will just write or request to the author asking for a copy of the journal. Maximum good authors or good journals, you will find that the authors reply unless and until there is some copyright issue. Otherwise, they'll share the article with you. So what I will request, in next 5 minutes, all of you just go to Taylor and Francis journals and register yourself for. And one more thing, when you are registering for such databases, please make sure you have another fresh email ID. Reason being, I would not suggest you to use your email IDs and passwords which you are using for banking and other things for this purpose, because several times they will say that these are all cookies, you have to accept all those cookies. So better not to register with a email ID which you commonly use for your banking ID password. Try to use something else, or if you are having your any institutional email ID, better you use an institutional email ID. So that would be of great help to you. So in next 5 minutes, I expect all of all of you to just register onto Taylor and Francis journals. So once you register that, then you can go to any journal of Taylor and Francis and check whether you are able to see the journal articles or not. That is the first phase of selection. Just like you will be registering for Taylor and Francis, it is expected that you are going to register for other journal bases also later on. Sage Journal, JSTOR. JSTOR will allow you to download 3 articles in a week. They will not charge you anything. Okay, so I'm just giving you 5 minutes. All of you just register in next 5 minutes, and by that time I would be also able to log in from my laptop.
Okay, sir. So we'll be waiting for 5 minutes in this meeting only.
Yes,
We'll
only five
wait.
minutes.
Yes, sir. Meanwhile, I request everyone to log into Taylor and Francis and do the registration so that we'll have a live experience how it is being done.
I hope all of you would have registered by now.
Many would have, sir. Sir is back in the session. Kindly join back, everyone.
Sir, there is a question regarding the articles which we can send to UGC Care List 1, because these journals in UGC Care List 1, they normally tend to come in and go out quite often. So we don't know
Yes,
whether they will last or not.
yes, that is why I always suggest, please do not go for just UGC care journal, because in UGC you have two lists. One is UGC one is UGC 2. So I would suggest UGC 2 because it is Scopus, and very rarely those journals which are predatory journals, those journals you will find that they are being removed. So very rarely you will find journals are being removed from that base, Scopus database. See, I would always suggest everyone to at least publish in Scopus. Do not go for something less than Scopus, because I have also suffered earlier many of my articles which were once upon a time under UGC, later it was removed from UGC list, then few came back, few were again removed. So all those things create a problem later on in your career. It is always suggested that one should stick to something which is Scopus journals only. So last 2 years I
But if
have
I can
also
just,
tried to. Yes.
sir, if I can just interrupt regarding the Scopus and the other one, Web of Science
Yes.
also, what we have seen is that the Q4 journals are not preferred, and also these emerging journals, they prefer not to put the articles in those journals because there is some issue. Is it true?
No, I'll not say for Q3, but generally for Q2, Q1, and Q2, you'll find good journals. Q3, some exceptional times you might encounter. Q4, there are so many journals which have been put up into Q4. These journals are known as at-risk journals. You will have to take your own call, because so many mails coming in from such kind of journal, they are already removed, or they know that they are going to be removed from Scopus list. So there is a phrase in Hindi na ki bhagte bhoot ka langot bhi kafi. So what they try to make money in the very last stage. They will say ki aap log paper dijiye, it will be under Scopus. So when you will check that journal, it will be showing under Scopus, but when your paper gets accepted and later on it will be removed from Scopus, and you will be facing trouble.
And what about that emerging journals which are in WAS? Are they also to be avoided?
Sir, are you there?
Mr. Terence, you were saying something?
Yes, sir. Regarding the emerging journals in the WAS list,
Yes.
so I believe that they are also best to be avoided. Is it true?
But when I talk about emerging listener, there is a little bit confusion. Reason being, there are so many emerging which I have. Once upon a time, it was in emerging list, but today it is Q2 and it is doing very good. It is having an impact factor of 2.6 also. So it depends. You have to check. See, that is why we always see the credential. Say today I will talk about a book. So you have books from Lakshmi Publications also. You have books from Sage. You have books from Taylor and Francis. You have books. Sorry, Taylor and Francis. You have books from Elsevier. The moment we talk about books from Elsevier or Taylor or Francis, we do expect certain standard. So these kind of problems one can predict. So always try to send your articles into good journals. See, in case of a systematic literature review, which is our topic, suppose you select an article for your study, and by default it has been removed. That might not make too much of difference, because such cases would be one or two out of say 50 or 100 articles which you are reviewing. For the Taylor and Francis part. Have all of
Sir,
you registered there?
Sir, another question is that regarding the bibliometric analysis, so is it to be done before the systematic literature review, or
No,
is
no.
it a part of
Bibliometric
it, or is it
analysis
something
is a
different?
no. It is completely different. Bibliometric analysis is completely different. It goes with a different orientation. In fact, there is a word which is known as meta-analysis. That is a later stage. I'll tell you in a very simple language. The first thing which we take upon is a literature review, normal literature review, which we are going to discuss today. Those paper whose literature review has already been done, those
Sir, I think your internet is not proper. Can't hear you clearly.
Sir, there is some internet connectivity issue with your system. If you can hear
okay,
us.
just a second. Just a second. Just a second. Is my voice audible now?
Yes, and now it is audible, but in between it goes on and off.
Maybe some, because my screen also it is showing low internet connectivities. However, the net is working good on my cell phone. Actually, I've connected from my cell phone. Anyway, Mr. Terence, please remember bibliometric is something else. It is not. It is related to it, but the approach and the process and methods is completely different. So the first thing which any researcher should understand is first literature review. The second, meta-analysis. So that is the second approach, or then the third one is bibliometric. So that is again a different ball game. Bibliometric analysis is not a
So, what is the difference between meta-analysis and bibliometric analysis? And when and how will be using
meta-analysis is
both?
something where you are going. Meta-analysis is somewhere where you are going to use the quantitative aspects. Okay, literature review is strictly going to identify the literature gap and maybe come up with ideas or scope, which is going to let you know that still good enough research can be done, or you are summarizing the work of several studies. But when I talk about meta-analysis, it is something again on past work only. It is systematically going to understand, but trying to come down to a conclusion. It is going to be quantitative in nature, and it is going to come down to a conclusion. But when we are talking about systematic literature reviews, it is not quantitative in nature, it is qualitative in nature.
And when is to be bibliometric use? When do we need to use bibliometric analysis? So your network is not supporting.
Prove or come down to a conclusion.
Sir, your network is not supporting. We were not able to hear whatever you had said.
I'm saying when we talk about meta-analysis, it is quantitative in nature. You
Yes,
come
sir.
down to a conclusion based on past researches, which is quantitative in nature. Systematic literature review is going. I'll just share a PPT. PPT is not made by me. Okay. I have just edited somebody else's PPT and going it. So this is a declaration which I'm giving beforehand. I'll give you some more examples on meta-analysis. Don't worry. I'll rather share certain articles. Now, one small thing, whenever you are talking about meta-analysis also, you cannot just go ahead on a meta-analysis paper on which meta-analysis has already been done. Same way, you cannot just do literature review on a paper where literature review paper has been published very recently. See, it's not biometric analysis, it is bibliometric analysis. It's not biometric, it is bibliometric. Okay. So in bibliometric analysis, what happens? Based on the references, based on the paper outcomes, based on the citations, you try to have a pool set of the peer-reviewed journals, articles, and then you use statistical methods and approach for that. You do not just go for a normal techniques which are available. Even from a normal Excel you can do it, but it takes time also, and you need to develop expertise on that also. Because when we talk about bibliometric analysis, you are having certain approaches. One of the most common approach which used to be followed by people was your Excel. But nowadays, people do not follow it. They go for a pictorial representation where you have mapping. So you have science mapping, you have performance analysis. These are some other techniques.
Sir, you are not audible.
I'm sorry, there is some issue with net. Anyone who is not comfortable with UGC care list, they don't know how to check whether a journal or article is UGC listed, or because that is the first stage of systematic literature review, which is journal article search. I hope all of you are aware. If not, please let me know immediately. I'll just share a screen and you can just understand. All of you are aware how to check.
It will be great if you can show us, sir.
Okay, I'll share the screen.
Sir, one question regarding SLR. Just I wanted to know whether it is to
Yes.
be done on the research question or it is to be based on the research objectives. How
It
we
is
are doing
generally
this?
based on research objectives. Now, see what would happen. I'll give you a can be done on domain areas also. Suppose you want to know, I would take an example from your area only. If you can just let me know what is your area, I will try to give an example from your area only.
Sir, there is one
What is?
question.
Yes, please.
Systematic literature review. Is it different for a thesis and a research paper, research article, or it has to be done in the same?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. See what actually happens when you actually do a literature review. You do a literature review paper for publishing in a journal. If you do it, I would say 80% of your literature review chapter of your thesis would be done. I cannot give you an assurance that if you just write a literature review paper in toto you can copy in your thesis. The reason being, in your literature review chapter of thesis, you will write something extra. Okay, but if of SLR, but whatever you will be conducting in SLR, that you can directly put in, but that will not complete your chapter 2, which is generally a chapter 2 or chapter 3 in your thesis. But 80% of that chapter would be done if you are making a proper systematic literature review. In fact, I am currently taking a small systematic literature review. I would just try to see if that screen is available. I'll try to. Yes, I'll
So can you
share
just
and
share a consortium link wherein people can check if the journal is UGC care or not?
so all of you can just create your email ID, like create your ID here. you can just go to UGC Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics, UGC CARE. Those who are not registered, there would be an option which would be coming of registration. You can directly go and register there. Once you register there, you will have an email ID and password. Post that, you can log in. Once you log in, see, even they try to give you a list of clone journal, and if you get across any clone journal or you become a victim of it, or if you are having a doubt, you can just give an alert to UGC also. Now, please remember there are two lists. One is Care List 1, Care List 2. Care List 1 is just UGC Care, and Care List 2 talks about two sets. One is Web of Science and the other is Scopus. And in Web of Science, you are having three. One is Arts, Humanities, Citation, and you can directly click and you'll even see, even I think in the month of March, there were 65 articles, journals, which were removed from this group 2. I'll try to share the screen also. You can actually come to know that these are those journal articles which have been removed from your Scopus database also. There are, see, you need to be a little bit alert and vigilant, because these kind of things are taking place regularly where people are befooled, and it is very unfortunate, but this is the reality, because we have seen, even I have been a victim indirectly. I have been a victim 3 years back, but you cannot help it now, help it that time. But in today's time, with so much of support from IT and so much of clarity and openness from UGC and even journal databases, I think everybody would come to know whether this journal is a good journal or a bad journal or at-risk journal. So try not to publish or send your articles anywhere where you have a doubt. Okay. I'm just opening this. The moment it opens, I'll let you know. So this is how you are going to check your journal list. Since many of you said that you do not have access to something which is EBSCO or ProQuest, those who are not having an access, if you people are belonging to Ranchi, so what you can do, you can go to certain universities where they have a database wherein you can write a letter from your librarian to their librarian, and you can go there and they might allow you to use their database from which you can download the articles. BIT Mesra is having it. IIM Ranchi is also having it. Okay, have you ever visited any of these libraries in recent past? Do you people visit libraries?
I don't think so, sir.
So that is something which you should do. Now see this, I have just shared a slide. These are those journals which have been removed or discontinued from Scopus in January 2022. In fact, there is another list in 2023 also which they have not updated. Recently, more journals. Now see, for example, Journal of Content, Community and Communication, Amity University. It has been discontinued in April 2022. There are certain other, this is only
And I know
10, you will
many
have
people
more.
have written for this journal. They have
No,
written their
many
paper.
people would have.
Many of them.
No, if you have published an article which was before April 2022, suppose many of you would be only interested for your thesis award or for your promotions. So those people who have published in, suppose, this journal, Journal of Content, Community and Communication, before 1st April 2022 or the previous edition, that will be counted. For that, you need to take a printout of this page and submit it to them along with other details. Then it will be proved that before April 2022 it was there, so they will consider it as Scopus.
Okay, sir.
So I'll just try to show you ProQuest, wherein you can actually have an understanding that what a good thing it is. And if you are trying to go ahead for a systematic literature review, take my words, things would not be easy if you do not have a database. without having a database of Scopus or EBSCO or ProQuest, it would become very difficult for you to search for articles. So I am just sharing a screen with you right now, which is of ProQuest database. Okay. And I'll just tell you how good it is. And if you have anybody in nearby universities, please do visit whenever you are trying to do any kind of systematic literature review or literature review papers. Without such databases, it will be very difficult. So I'll take an example from you people only. Anybody just let me know a topic in which you are doing research.
Marketing.
No, no, do not just say marketing. In marketing, what?
So actually, I've chosen the topic on a study on consumer behavior in organic food products.
Consumer behavior. I'll just type. So now see what I'm trying to do. When initially for a blind search, I am going to have certain keywords. The first stage for searching a paper for SLR is also identifying the keywords. Now the keyword selection is going to be done by your wisdom. So she said consumer behavior. Then you said about organic products, na?
Organic food products, sir.
Organic food. So I am just taking these two words. So there is something which is known as and or. Now, do you want the articles which is going to have either of these two words? Because there would be thousands of scientific journals also which would be available on organic food. I might not be interested in that. So what I'm doing, I'm typing these two words together: consumer behavior and organic food. All of you are able to see this? I have just typed consumer behavior and organic food, and I'm just clicking on it. Now I have an option whether I just want to have a peer-reviewed journal or a full access. Now what you will see, I have got 1,54,823 results. So you have to write down this word, this number. You will write that when I went to ProQuest, in fact, it is written in a tabular manner. I'll show you the table also. So 154,823, you just write ProQuest with keywords consumer behavior and organic food. You do it. Now, there is a time limit which you need to fix and the kind of article which you need to choose. So here you will find sort by relevance. So I am only going to stick to scholarly journals. That means no books, no dissertations, no newspapers, nothing. For the current work, I am only sticking to scholarly journals. Now see, when I scholarly journals, the results come down to 42,775. Done. Now here also what I'll do, I might not be interested in those journal articles which have been published 30 years before. So I have an option: last 12 months, last 5 years, last 10 years, or I can have a custom date. Now please remember, the first thing which you are going to check is whether there is a systematic literature review available on this or not. So what I'll do, I will write in the search button itself, literature review. Sorry, that is wrongly typed, so I'll have to type it again. Since I have typed a wrong sentence, a wrong word. Now I am searching again. Because if I get a literature review paper which is already available and which has been published 2-3 years before or 4 years before, then even if I write a literature review paper and if I send it somewhere, it would not be accepted. There is a very low chance that it will be accepted. But that paper would be of great help to you if you are writing a literature review chapter of your thesis, because you will not have to go to n number places and you will be able to. So I have not been able to find, because else it would have come. Now what happens? Now you find the articles. I am going to restrict myself to last 10 years. आप लोग सुनते होंगे, your guides would be saying कि recent papers को cite कीजिए, recent papers को cite कीजिए. There is a reason, because recent papers would be covering past papers and past articles also. So I'm just restricting. So just see, in last 10 years, 38,692 papers have been published. Now there would be many papers out of this which would be published in Britain, on US, UK, and you are not interested in that, and you are only interested in a paper which is published considering India in context. I hope you are also doing that work, or are you taking up the entire world?
So only India.
Okay, so I am putting India is amongst the topic. While search, I am just adding India. Now you will find that the number of articles will further reduce. Let it search. Actually, the net is a little bit slow, otherwise it does not take this much time.
Sir, if ProQuest is not there, is there any open access thing or AI tool available for this?
I will give you a list of OERs which is free of cost. In fact, I made you people write a list of journal articles, journals. Once
Yes,
you
sir.
register into all those databases,
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to have it. See what happens. You might be having something which is I should not say there is a way, but that is for only for those articles which have been published before 2019. You might have heard about
Sci-fi.
something which is Sky Hub,
Yes. Sky Hub.
but that is something which is banned,
Yeah.
illegal. But there are many people who have been using it. Yes,
We
Mahadevi ji,
all
you are
use it.
saying.
University is not
Yeah,
having.
Yes,
excuse me.
yes,
Yes,
please.
ma'am.
Yeah. There's a query. What you are doing in ProQuest, can we do in Taylor and Francis?
Yes,
Does
yes,
it allow us to do the same process?
yes. Not
Okay.
exactly, but a process would be different.
Yeah,
You
similarly.
write the
Okay.
keywords. You want me to
Mm.
show it on Taylor and Francis? I'll show it on Taylor and Francis
Yeah,
only.
actually, you asked us to make an account in Taylor and
No,
Francis, and
I
that
just
we've done.
asked you because I asked you because there are many people who would not be registered till date, which
Okay,
is
we
very
registered
surprising
now. Na,
because
in that 5 minutes break, you said
no.
you gave us a
I'm
break
not
of five
saying for
minutes, and I
today's 5 minutes.
registered. Yeah,
Okay, good. I'll just
you
come
tried.
to Taylor and Francis only, and I'll show it from Taylor and Francis
Yeah.
only. Just give me a second. Because every journal would be having a different way of searching. Okay, like here in
Okay.
this ProQuest, you were finding years coming here, na, in the left hand side. Some
Yeah.
other journal, it will be coming at the very top. If you go through some other journals, they not be just giving you an option of year directly. You would be coming to the search command. JSTOR, you have a different system where they
Elsevier
only
is
allow
the
you
same
to download
platform.
3 articles.
Yeah. Elsevier is the
I'm
same.
just opening, I'm just opening Taylor and Francis. Just give me a second.
The page says search peer reviewed journals and articles.
I'm just opening it because I have not used Taylor because I have access to some other like official databases, na. So I generally don't use it. But when I was not having these resources with me, I have used it, and they are of great help. And every researcher who is not having an access to these databases should definitely register onto all these databases. At least you have a great deal of support, because in today's time many of those articles are open access, and many which are not open access, at least you will be able to read the abstract, and through that abstract you can actually take up a decision whether that particular article you should be counting for your systematic literature review or not.
Okay.
By that time,
It says enter keywords, authors, DOI, ORCID, etc.
no, it gives you an option. It gives you an
Okay.
option. If you already know the name of the author, good enough. If you do not know the name of the author,
Okay. Okay. We'll just
and
write the keywords of the
just write
area
the
of
keywords.
research.
In fact,
Okay.
the first stage which you will be doing is actually going by a keyword, because initially, if you know the details of the paper, then you would not be searching actually.
Yeah.
So one more question. Do we need to
Yes.
define the questions before this literature review, or do we need to define the
You
topic?
need to have a clarity that why you are doing a systematic literature review. Either you are going to write a composite or a comparative of all the work which have been done in your topic in your thesis, or you are looking forward to write an article. That is, I said that if you are almost 80% things would be same, but if you are writing an article, your orientation would be a little bit different. And if you are
Yeah.
writing for
Sometimes
thesis,
what I have seen that many beginners, what they do is they first do the systematic literature review and then they define the topic.
no, systematic literature review is the biggest source. See, what do you write in your thesis? Say, when I'm talking about your chapter 2, what do you write in your thesis? You are actually coming down to something which is your literature gap.
Yeah.
From that literature gap, you are proposing your research objective and hypothesis. If you do not have a gap, how can you just go ahead with a topic? You need to justify why you have selected that topic. That is why we use systematic literature review in thesis. It will be of great help to you, because if you are, see, practically it is impossible for someone who has not done a literature review just citing 50-70 articles to write a chapter 2 of your literature review is not the purpose. Actual literature review is going to help you out, and it is going to come out with literature gap, and that literature gap is going to tell you what topic you should take upon.
Okay.
I've given a broad area. You have selected a broad area, say marketing, consumer behavior in organic food in India. But there are so many people who are already doing work. Whatever you are thinking might be an overdone topic. Now, see, for this keyword here, you can just have. I have just gone for a journal known as Museum and Heritage Studies. You can just say anything historical museums India. There's some issue just wait.
Yeah. In the filters, they say access type. Only show content I have full access to or only show open access. Which one do we select? Hello?
Articles, what are the keywords which they have used, what is the abstract, whether it is related to you or not. See, by that time it is opening, I'll show you a very simple approach.
Yeah. Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Basically, if you are
I
doing a
wanted to.
systematic literature review, Mahadevi ji, if you are doing a systematic literature review, before doing literature study, how you have decided your final topic? You can draft an area. You can decide an area of your study. Like somebody said, "Na, I want to do work in organic food in India."
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Like somebody said, "Na, I want to do work in organic food." You have done a proper literature review. Without doing a proper literature review, you cannot go ahead with your
So you're not
topic,
audible.
final topic.
Sir?
Now I am audible.
Hello?
Yes, 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 sir. Yes, sir,
Sir,
you are audible.
I wanted to know in the filters there are two options given. Only show content I have full access to or only show open access. Which one do we select?
No, no. You
for the initial time being, you need
We are
to
going
go
for the
through
filters
everything.
now.
Ah,
There are two options, okay, in the access type. Only show content I have full access to, or only show open access. Which one?
no, you can. I think you click on both. I think the
Both.
both would not
Okay.
be allowed. You
Okay.
uh, no, you would be able to click on both also. Don't worry.
Okay.
No,
Then they're
once only.
asking
You will be able
article
to click
type,
on one only.
subject, journal, publication date, all that they're asking.
Ah,
Okay.
that you can then you can click on both.
Arana ma'am, I think many permutation combination can be done on the filters and
Yeah.
will
Then
be
I understood. You
getting
can click both one by
yes,
one.
yes.
Yeah. Got it. 2026 articles are available.
Document.
Great.
Again, you are doing systematic literature. You see,
But again, not audible.
if you if you see right now, you will phase one and phase two. You find that the first thing is that you find how many papers which are available with those keywords. Now, once those keywords are there, you go to the title of the papers, like in Scopus or
Sir,
EBSCO,
can you zoom out your
Taylor
presentation?
Francis. I hope you are able to see the screen.
Screen is visible, but if you zoom it, it will be much more clear.
No, it cannot be. Acha, I'll try. I'll try.
There is a plus sign, sir.
Yes,
Can,
yes, yes, yes. I'm doing
yes,
it.
sir.
Just wait.
Yeah. Kindly adjust it, sir.
Is visible now?
Yes, sir.
So is it about Prisma you're discussing now?
I'm.
Hello?
This is a Prisma approach. This is a Prisma approach.
Okay, right. Yes.
Okay. Most accepted approach. Okay. So stage one, what you did, you just entered keywords and you got suppose 14,000, 11,000, but you have to write which databases which you have searched. So if you will see this paper which I have shared with you, you will find the list of all databases like Scopus, EBSCO, and it will also tell Taylor Francis, Inder Science, IGI. That is why I have made you write all these, because whenever searching, search on all these databases also. Okay, because these are the world's best journals, like be it IGI Global, be it Elsevier, be it Sage Journals, be it Indoscience, be it Willy. Okay, there are others also. I'm not restricting
So
you to
can you
these only. There
deal
would be.
Prisma a bit?
Yes, we are going ahead a little bit.
Hello?
So
Yes.
once you do that, you start reading the titles, the
Sir,
titles of the
Arana
paper
ma'am,
which are available.
So
excuse me.
there are 1200.
Yes,
The
please.
result shows there are 1224 results for the search that I was looking for. Now, uh, you said now if the literature review has already been done, then we cannot do further on that. Is it something like that?
You need to check the dates. You need to check the dates. If that literature review has been
Okay.
done, say 10 years before, you have a full scope
Okay.
of doing another literature review. But if that
Acha.
literature review has been done 2 or 3 years before, I would never suggest you that. But for
Okay.
your
Okay.
thesis, you be using that paper.
Okay. One more thing. If the topic is same, then we will not do. Na. Otherwise, if the topic is different, we can do it.
See, when I
If the
say
keywords
topic,
are same, no. The
accepted.
keywords are there.
Ma'am, you can do it, but it will not be accepted by the journals.
I'll tell you. I'll give you a very small example. Suppose,
Okay.
with respect to organic food only, suppose somebody writes problems and challenges in acceptance of organic food in India. Suppose there is a
Hmm.
literature review paper which is titled like this: Problem
Hmm.
or acceptance of problems in acceptance of organic food in India.
Now,
Hmm.
if you are doing a work where you want to write a paper for a journal where you are only identifying what are the various challenges and issues, maybe you write some
Hmm.
synonym of
Okay.
acceptance of organic food or why people are not buying organic food. Suppose you are writing a title, why Indian people are not favoring organic foods, question mark, and you are having a
Okay.
research title. You
Okay.
cannot publish a paper on that, because if you are going,
Okay.
you maybe some journal might accept it, but the moment they come to know now that there is already a literature review published 2 3 years, then what you have done, you have only added
Okay.
5 or
Nothing
10
new.
more
Okay.
publications after that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so the easiest way, once you do that, the second, that is why I say literature review takes the maximum time for a PhD scholar initially. Analysis would not take time.
Excuse me,
Once you
sir.
have done that, you read the titles. While you are reading the title, just give me a second first. While you are reading the title, you will get an idea where is the organic food and study the software which is used in Zotero while you are doing. Because when you are selecting the articles, get it linked to Zotero. It is free of cost. You have heard about it?
What
Yes,
is
sir.
the
Yes.
spell Zotero?
It is when
Zotero.
you are downloading the article, na, because tomorrow when you will be selecting the final list of articles, you need to write the references and citations. It will become difficult. Better you link it from day one. Now, once you are able to see the presentation. Just
No, sir.
I'll share it again. There is some. Now I hope it would be coming. So you just read the titles. Those titles which are not of your interest, or you find that this title is not related, it is talking about something else which is not related to my topic. Suppose there would be a topic on consumer behavior, organic food, but it is talking about organic food, consumer behavior, pricing. Like something which is completely not related with your study. Drop it. So I'm just sharing a real life example. We did papers where
Sir,
we got from.
I have a doubt. I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
So you just said, right, like before drafting a topic, we have to go for systematic literature review. One
Yes.
of like my friends said that it's fine, like after drafting a topic also you can find both the ways are fine, they said.
Both the ways are
Is
fine,
there
but
any?
you will do. I'll not say systematic literature review, but you need to do a proper
Hmm.
literature review before you are actually going for a tentative title also.
Yeah, because what happened, sir, recently, like we are done with the coursework, and my guide is insisting me to come up, like, insisting us to come up with the topic like from 4 months. So now we have not started SLR. Then how will we come to know that what the topic we are going to focus?
See, you people would be coming up with research objectives. All of you would be
Okay.
coming up with research objectives. Now, those research objectives, how would you arrive on to those research objectives? You are going to arrive on those research objectives based on something which is a literature gap or so-called
Okay. So
research
I'm
gap.
talking about topics, sir.
That is what I am telling you.
So trying to say is she has
See, you cannot,
changed.
you need to justify your title now. Whatever is the final topic, I'll give you a very small example. When you decide your title, how do you decide your title? You just write a title and you just propose it to your guide, and your guide says good, yes or no. What is the way which you follow? What is the process which you are following right now?
So please come again.
What is the process which you are following right now? Because the correct way is that you have a tentative area in your mind. I want to do work in marketing, HR, finance, IT. This is the first stage. We say it is to be called as a funnel down approach. We use a word
Okay.
in research which is a funnel down approach. The first thing which we do is that we decide whether we are going to do our research in marketing, HR, finance, IT, or maybe interdisciplinary. Done. Suppose HR, very good. In HR, what I want to do, sir, I want to do something which is related to turnover. Very good. Turnover means people staying back or leaving. Usse related. Very good. What do I want to do in turnover? Inside turnover, so turnover intention identification or at risk identification. Very good. I have come down to a normal topic. Then I will go on to literature. I will search literature. If I find that too much of work has already been done, then why would my guide accept that type topic? I find another person in IIT Roorkee or IIT Delhi who's doing a similar work on this topic. That is why it is always said during your coursework, please do visit for conferences because you are able to know what are the topics on which people are working. In fact, इसके लिए I would always suggest you to search for various OERs also. There are hundreds of OERs across the globe. Hundreds and hundreds of OERs. At least you will be able to know what is going on where. Because if you just go and repeat something, then there is no point, na? If you just go and repeat something which is already been done, then what is the purpose of doing it?
And what is OER?
OER are open educational resources.
So, okay.
And I am letting you
Sorry.
know again, इंडिया में you have NDL. ऐसा नहीं है कि वर्ल्ड में नहीं है, पूरे वर्ल्ड में OERs फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है.
अच्छा.
तो आपको तो
हाँ,
सबसे
अब
पहले OERs देखना पड़ेगा ना. See, without doing a proper literature review, how would you go ahead? I am unable to understand. आप अपना टॉपिक डिसाइड ही कैसे कर लेंगे?
हाँ, सही बात.
I am a scholar. How would I decide?
नितेश सर,
Yes.
जैसे ऐसा होता है नॉर्मली, जो जैसे रांची यूनिवर्सिटी देख लो, तो यहाँ होता है कि यू कम विथ योर टॉपिक, फिर हम उसके बाद फिर यू हैव
That is not the way actually, na.
Yes, that is
That
not the
is-
way, but if it has been done, उसके बाद फिर क्या कर सकते हैं? Because
ना,
ऐसे ही
if-
होता है, पे तो उतना टाइम देते नहीं है कि we
The same situation even I'm going through.
where ma'am
नहीं.
Sir, actually, sir, this system is present everywhere, anywhere in India. If you want to change this, you have to first change the guides. This is a
And
sad
not
state that is
exactly,
happening.
not
Very
exactly.
sad state.
Central University
That
also
I accept. That I accept that it is a sorry state, but I would still say that if you are able to convince your guide that sir, this is a topic where I want to do a research, and if you are able to prove that this is a research gap which is available, I don't feel as if any guide would stop you.
So to first we need to do the literature review, then only we can prepare a synopsis.
See, it's not a technical literature review. I'm not talking about proper SLR, but you need to do a literature review. Without doing a review, how you are going to confirm your topic? Say, I have decided on a topic. I'll tell you my PhD stage. I decided on a topic. I finalized the topic. I went to my guide. My guide said, okay. I presented in my RAC. The RAC said, no, this is not a topic because too much of work has done on it. They gave me 3 months. I reworked again from the same area. My area of PhD was human resource audit. So I came up with a very generic topic of human resource audit. Later on, they told me that you just check. When I went to the literature, seriously, in depth, जैसे आज कर रहे हैं, I went to IM Kozhikode during that time, and I did some course there. When I did work there, I identified कि मेरा वाला काम तो बहुत पहले already हो चुका है. Then I identified a domain inside it, and then I changed my title. It was having human resource audit, but it was little bit changed. And I proved through literature review कि ये गैप अभी भी इसमें बचा है. This is this सब टॉपिक जिसमें अभी तक काम नहीं हुआ है. Then I proposed it again and it was accepted. तो बहुत डिपेंड करता है आपके गाइड और आपके आरएससी पे भी. See, there are two ways you do your PhD. One is a general PhD, one is a PhD.
सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी में भी पहले सिनॉप्सिस देना होता है, तब वो सेलेक्ट करते हैं कि आपको PhD मिलेगी भी या नहीं.
Synopsis is just for a tentative area, madam. It does not gives you a guarantee कि आपका जो synopsis का टाइटल है वही टाइटल आपके PhD का होगा.
अच्छा.
Nowhere in
Okay,
India
it differs.
हमारा
Nowhere in India it is like that.
हमारे यहाँ तो ऐसे ही रांची यूनिवर्सिटी में
हमारा
ऐसे ही
तो
होता
वही
है।
था रांची यूनिवर्सिटी में।
वो गलत है। अगर आपके सिनॉप्सिस में कोई टाइटल है, आप लिटरेचर रिव्यू कर रहे, 6 महीना आपने काम किया, आपको लगा मेरे टाइटल में ये थोड़ा एडिटिंग है, थोड़ा हाँ पूरा टाइटल बदलेंगे तो शायद कोई ऑब्जेक्शन उठाए, बट थोड़ा बहुत टाइटल में चेंज हो रहा है, नहीं मेरा एरिया बदल रहा है, स्कोप बदल रहा है, डोमेन एरिया बदल रहा है, नथिंग रॉन्ग इन इट, नथिंग रॉन्ग इन इट। और क्या होगा, एक आरएसी का बोर्ड मीटिंग बैठेगा एंड दे विल हैव टू चेंज फॉर इट। you need to take that up because वो तो फिर गलत हो जाता है। अब वो किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी में होगा, आई डोंट वांट टू टेक नेम्स, अगर वैसा होता है तो फिर आपको एक और प्रॉब्लम बताते हैं। टुमारो व्हेन यू अपीयर फॉर गुड इंस्टीट्यूशंस ना जॉब के लिए, तो पूछते हैं क्यों आज के डेट में कि आप कहाँ से पीएचडी किए हैं।
हाँ,
यही तो रीजन है। आपका वैल्यू, आप भले बहुत अच्छा काम क्यों गए, सी ऐसा भी नहीं होता है कि जो भी इंस्टीट्यूट है वहां अच्छे लोग नहीं होते, अच्छे रिसर्चर बहुत जगह होते हैं, बट कहीं ना कहीं ब्रांड का फर्क पड़ता है ना। तो इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ, अगर आप अच्छा काम करेंगे, अगर आपका ब्रांड नेम थोड़ा कम भी है तो आप मैनेज कर लेंगे और आप आगे निकल जाएंगे, अदरवाइज यू विल बी स्टक। Shall we just go a little bit ahead?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So based on title, first stage is title. You shortlist the papers on title. So from 11,813 we came to 963 in our paper. Then we started reading the abstract. Now this is a tough thing because genuinely we read abstract of all these 963. तो अभी जो मैंने आपको रजिस्टर कराने के लिए बोला ना, टेलर फ्रांसिस, सेज, विले, तो इस स्टेज तक तो एवरीथिंग इज फ्री फॉर यू। टिल एब्स्ट्रैक्ट everything is free, all of you can read the abstract whether it is a paid journal or a non paid journal, उसके लिए आपको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। you just register onto these databases, Taylor Francis, Sage, Elsevier, IGI, Indus Science, you just register onto all those base कि पेपर का टाइटल भी दिख गया, कीवर्ड पहले कीवर्ड डाले, पेपर्स मिल गया, वेरी गुड। सेज में 131 लिख लीजिए एक जगह, 131, उसमें से कितने टाइटल्स पढ़े, ओके टाइटल के बेसिस पे खाली 23 टाइटल्स अच्छे हैं मेरे लिए, ओके 23 का एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़े, कितना आ गया, 5 आर्टिकल्स, वेरी गुड। ये जो 5 आर्टिकल है फिर हम उसको फुल डाउनलोड करेंगे, वो फुल डाउनलोड नहीं मिलेगा तो हम कहीं और से इंतजाम करेंगे। सिमिलरली आप सबका करेंगे और सबको ऐड कर लेंगे, तो लास्ट स्टेज आप देखेंगे कि आपको फाइनली 531 का जो आया मेरे पास, हम वो 531 को पूरा पढ़े, उसके बेसिस पे हम सिर्फ 177 पेपर्स को लिए कि हाँ भाई यही पेपर्स मेरे काम के हैं, बाकी नहीं। अब इसके बाद एक होता है स्टेज 2, जो 177 पेपर्स आपने सेलेक्ट किए ना, अब वो 177 पेपर्स के रेफरेंस में आप जाएंगे। 177 पेपर्स के जब आप रेफरेंस में पढ़ेंगे, अगेन उस रेफरेंस को के सिर्फ टाइटल्स को आप पढ़ेंगे, क्योंकि आपके तो रेफरेंस में टाइटल लिखा ही हुआ है, वो टाइटल पढ़ के आप समझ लेंगे, अच्छा ठीक ये मेरे काम का है। तो सपोज मेरे लिस्ट में आया था 1 1 2 3 रेफरेंसेस थे, उसके बेसिस पे मैंने जब टाइटल्स पढ़ा तो खाली 184 मेरे को समझ में आया। ये 184 जर्नल आर्टिकल्स मेरे को फिर खोजने पड़ेंगे डेटाबेस में डाल के, फिर वो 184 के एब्स्ट्रैक्ट को मैं पढ़ूंगा, वो 184 के एब्स्ट्रैक्ट को मैं, कुछ दिक्कत नहीं, आप कॉपी करके डायरेक्टली पेस्ट करेंगे, आप फ्री डेटाबेस में आपको एब्स्ट्रैक्ट तो कहीं भी मिल जाएगा। अगर आपका यूनिवर्सिटी में एब्सको प्रोक्वेस्ट नहीं भी है तो प्लीज रिमेंबर, जो जर्नल्स में आप रजिस्टर करेंगे आपको फ्री में पेपर का टाइटल और एब्स्ट्रैक्ट पढ़ने मिलता है, प्लीज रिमेंबर दैट। और बहुत सारे जर्नल्स का तो फुल टेक्स्ट भी मिल जाएगा, जैसे मैं आप लोग देखेंगे ओपन एक्सेस, तो फ्री में बहुत सारा मिलेगा। ओपन एक्सेस जर्नल क्या है, फॉर विच दे टेक सम फीस, और वो पेपर कैन बी डाउनलोडेड बाय एनीवन एंड विच कैन बी सीन। सपोज इसमें 21 आ गया, तो 177 एंड 21, तो मेरा जो लिटरेचर रिव्यू शुरू होगा, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड
सर,
वो ये 198 पेपर्स पे होगा।
नितेश सर,
यस प्लीज
sir, English only. People are, they do not understand.
So the final research which we are
So
going
please
to do,
share this PDF.
I think the paper,
We'll be sharing, ma'am. We'll be sharing.
I'll share the PPT also. Don't, I have already shared the paper also with you.
Yes, ma'am, sir. It is in the WhatsApp group, ma'am. You can check it.
So 198
So
papers.
this is not available, I think so. This
We'll be
PDF is
sending
from a
it.
Available.
Tamil.
I have shared it. I've
It
already
is
shared it. Now these 198 papers, now being a researcher, I am going to take a, this was my article identification and selection process. Now once I have done it, I just write it that what I have done and how I have done, explain it. And the major part is going to be your table part, which comes. Now, this is something which is going to be the most important part. And even if you are writing your thesis, na, you can write your thesis also in this way. So, what we did, we divided our entire paper like what are the individual attributes as predictors of turnover intention. This title will be changing as per your research. Every researcher will have every different areas. So I just wrote it. How many papers? Suppose out of 193 papers, 8 papers were talking about core value evaluation, which is 4%. Major study was this. Major finding was this. I write it like this. Those papers were discussing about these industries, IT, retail, healthcare, and the statistical methods which were used for this. Now, please understand these headings of the column are very important. The headings of the column are going to be decided by you. Please understand, it is going to be purely decided by you. Suppose I am doing this work, organic food wala work na. So what titles I would be having? Suppose I would be having like this. Organic food wale mein I'll write year, the first column. Second column would be author. The third column would be say organic food category. Then I will write suppose challenges. Then I'll write study. I'll write findings. Then if I am interested for some kind of other work, I can always write sample size, slash sample, and the last one would be methodology adopted. And if I am looking forward for a thesis work, I will write another very interesting part, which is research gap. That will help me to summarize all the research gap and cover. So these could be the columns. Now you have to read every single article, which is 194, and you have to write or fill these columns. Now there are two ways. What you can do, suppose similar results are coming in more articles, then what you can do, instead of having year and author as first column, what you can have uh, food category as the first column. Organic food category. Now, whose topic was this? Organic food category? Somebody from the audience?
Devi ma'am.
So,
That's my
under
top.
organic food, what categories come? What categories come under organic food? You would be having certain category of items, na? Please tell.
Mahadevi ma'am, are you there? Mahadevi ma'am, are you there in the meeting?
Okay,
I
so
think she's not here.
we will take a guess. Suppose we take a guess.
Okay.
Suppose there is something which is sweets. Then there is something which is known as liquid.
Grains, fruits, vegetables.
Huh.
Sorry, your voice was not audible.
Okay, got it. No issues. So what I'll do, first column would be suppose fruits. Now all the papers which are related to fruits, suppose there are 10 articles which are discussing about fruits. So beside that, I will put in the name of those 10 papers along with author and year beside fruits. Then what are the major challenges which are there? I'll write. Then what are your major findings? In fact, we do not just write findings, we write major findings. Reason being, you just have to go through that paper once, whatever the major findings are mentioned there, and you analyze it.
on your own and write major finding. And if there is any literature gap or gap which has been mentioned, good enough. If not, you write it on your own. Similarly, you are going to write it for all the categories. Once you finish this table, you will have a literature review. You write your analysis and you summarize all the gaps. You will get research gap for your paper and your topic. This is how you actually go ahead. See,
So is there
it
any
is not
shortcut for this?
on the basis of this only you are going to frame a title, na?
Sir, is there any shortcut of doing all this one
No.
sheet papers?
If you are doing a genuine PhD, you need to do a proper literature review. Without an effective literature review, how can you go ahead? This is the biggest problem. How can you go ahead without doing a literature review?
Sir, we have not done SLR, but
It's not SLR.
LR we
See,
have.
do not confuse only with SLR. SLR is actually done for writing a publication. The basic intent is publication. But literature review you would have done without doing a literature review. How you are
Yes,
going?
it is done. So, sir, can we do a SLR? We should do an SLR only for research article. So it need not be for the PhD.
No. If you do a SLR, it will serve two purpose. If it gets published, your publication is going to be count. And anyways, whatever table you are drafting for SLR, you can put it in your literature in your thesis also. So it is
No,
going to be
that we have understood, sir. But
yes.
in case we are not including it into the thesis, is that fine?
It is fine. That is not mandatory that you need to have a proper SLR. But at least you will do some literature review and you are going to show your gap now. So
Yes.
why you want to waste your effort? Once you are doing it, do it properly. Publish
No,
it somewhere and also include in your thesis.
because the issue is that some of us may have already gone far ahead,
Okay,
and we
yes,
have
got
come
it.
to know about this maybe now
Then
only.
I'll tell you one more problem which you are going to encounter. If you have gone ahead, then one very major problem you are going to encounter in reality. Out of those people who have already gone ahead, how many of you are looking forward for a questionnaire or an interview as data collection instrument? Anybody planning to use a questionnaire? Those who have gone ahead, are you looking forward for now? Then what would happen? Then how would you draw an instrument? Because every item which you are using or every statement or question which you are using, it is always suggested if you are writing a citation while drafting it, you are going to make sure that your questionnaire is going to be a good questionnaire. Then there might be some very important questions which might be missed or important aspects might be missed. So literature review is mandatory. I'm saying SLR को मत बोलिए, but literature review, proper dedicated literature review is mandatory. How can you actually go ahead with even freezing your topic? क्वेश्चनर तो बहुत आगे का बात हो गया.
No, lit review we have already done, but
Oh, 10 days at least.
SLR we have not done for the thesis. Suppose we do
Good
an
enough.
SLR to write an article, and normal LR we do for the thesis. Is that allowed?
Good enough. But what I am saying, when you are doing a normal LR, it will take 75 to 80% of your effort. Put in 15-20% effort more and publish it as a paper also. Why do you want to waste your effort?
So for us, they have made a compulsion of SLR for PhD thesis. Like
No
when we are going to
compulsion.
technically start. No, for us they have made like our guide has told like we have to go with the process of SLR only.
See, it is good if guide has said that you do an SLR because he knows that anyways you have to do an LR. So better you put in a little bit of more of effort and you will be having two benefits. The paper which I am showing right now, my scholar wrote this as first paper, this second paper. The first paper was also SLR. The second paper is not only SLR. Go read this paper.
at the very bottom, we have come down to all these points. The if you see pura, then we did a compare, and we have done some analysis also. The reviewer said that you don't just do an SLR, you do a pilot study also. So we did a pilot study also. We used the structural equation modeling, and we did an analysis also. So when you are writing a paper, if you do an SLR a little bit, not little bit, if you do a proper SLR and then substantiate it with certain findings, there is a higher degree of acceptance of your paper. And for that, you just need to do SLR of the papers which have been published recently, nothing more than 10 years. Do papers which have been published in 10 years. Even there are papers which say that papers which have been published in last 5 years. Suppose 6 saal pehle there was 6 years back, there was some kind of SLR paper which is already available. Then don't do a SLR of 10 years. Don't even write a name SLR. You just write literature review and analysis. You just mention it in the title or in the paper. So there would be a higher acceptance of your paper. It will show that the candidate or the scholar is knowing what has happened in past. And I'll tell you one thing very important. When you will be writing your thesis, there is a very important part which is discussion chapter. I hope all of you are aware. When you're going to have your final thesis, we write a chapter which is findings and discussion.
Yeah.
So findings is something which you are going to write from the analysis which is coming. What will you write in your discussion? Again, you'll have to come to this SLR again. I hope all of you know what is written in discussion. If you are not knowing, please let me know. Do you know what is written in discussion chapter?
Sir, can you briefly just state?
Okay, I'll just write in. I'll just give a small example. Suppose madam's research says that high price. She found out in her research, high price of organic food is making it difficult for commercialization at large scale. Suppose this is her finding. This can be a finding. Suppose this is her finding. In the discussion chapter, what she has to write, she has to refer to all the papers along with citations that similar results, suppose there are some other papers in past, similar results were reflected in past studies conducted by, then you will have to write, say, conducted by Sharma, 2021, Sinha, 2018, something like that. Okay? This would be one if similar results are coming. If opposite results are coming, say past results say that no, high price is not making it difficult for commercialization or price is not a reason for its commercialization, then you will have to write contradictory results been reported in past have been reported in past studies by, again you write the, and then you'll have to write the reason. You'll write that this may be on account of, again you might write maybe on account of different sample size or sampling method or maybe category of organic food, maybe demographic reason, maybe year. Okay, and there might be another option, third situation where you have not found anything in past. Then you will write a clear-cut sentence. There are no or similar studies or findings in past. Then what you will write? You will write a sentence written like this: substantial future research in this area
needs to be conducted in order to substantiate the current findings. This is a sentence which you are going to write. तो ये कहाँ से लिखेंगे? जब आपके पास पहले से SLR बना रहेगा, it would become very easy for you. Immediately you will find, इसका ये finding था, इसका ये finding था, इसका ये finding था. So you can directly write, my research findings are similar to the past findings given by these researchers. My research findings are opposite to these. So without doing a proper literature review, how would you write your discussion chapter? That is why I am saying it is very important. See, learning statistics is very easy. Doing statistical analysis takes, after your data, if your data collection is correct, if your data collection instrument is correct, analysis will take 15 days. Arey, one. How many SLR? Only one. Not possible to do more than one. Only is more than enough. One
Excuse me,
SLR
sir?
is very good.
Excuse
Yes.
me, sir. Sir, I'm Rajini. Sir, I just
Yes.
want to have some. I wanted to put something here. Like, sir, for a thesis, we have to do the SLR. Then finally, how much paper we are identifying to be reviewed in that particular thesis, we have to review those papers, right, sir? As you said, the total 198 papers to be reviewed in this particular Prisma chart. Those
Yes.
papers have you in detail, right, sir?
Yes.
That SLR plus that literature review we have to do in this particular. I mean, when you are writing for the thesis.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And one more question, sir. When we are, searching for a database, I mean, searching articles in a database, is it necessary to search in all the databases like ProQuest?
Yes, it is mandatory. Now, see, you will have an advantage if you have a direct access to Scopus database.
Okay.
Suppose there are certain universities which have a direct access to Scopus. Very good, then you don't have any issue. But suppose if you do not have the access, I will always suggest you the names which I have given you,
Yes,
even if
yes.
you search in those databases, it is more than enough, because these are the most famous publication houses: Taylor Francis, Sage, Blackwell Wiley, Inder Science,
Okay.
IGI, Elsevier,
Yeah, I just
Emerald.
downloaded from Taylor and Francis after you have told me to register that. It is a very good. I just feel that if we can get from the Taylor and Francis. Is it enough to take only from Taylor and Francis, or
No. You will have to take from all. You will have to take from. That is why, suppose you do it from Taylor and Francis first, then you do it from Sage Journal, same thing. Then
is
you
there
do
any
it with.
overlapping, sir?
No. There would not be a single journal which would be overlapping. Please understand, these are different publication houses. Not even a single article would be overlapping.
So
However,
if
if
I'm
you
not
use.
wrong, in the screening we'll come to know about the duplication of a work, like duplication of papers, what has been added.
Yes.
Even duplication would come if you are using Scopus database or ProQuest or EBSCO. But if you are using Taylor and Francis, Sage, Elsevier, Wiley, Inder Science, then there is a very less chance, very rare chance if you download the same article again. Otherwise, you will not have. That is why I am saying, please use Zotero, because there would be, if there would be any duplication, you would be able to identify. Or suppose somebody wants to go manual. Let us take an extreme situation where somebody is not comfortable with computers and he and she want to do a manual work. Good enough, please write references in Excel, cite it and sort it, and you will be able to identify that. But then your work would become a little bit tedious. So you can go with Zotero or Mendeley easily. If there would be any duplication, you will be able to identify. See,
Sir, what if Google Scholars?
I'll give you a link. It is very easy. I'll give you a video link of Zotero. Just wait.
Sir, what if Google Scholar or Publish or Perish?
Hey, Google Scholar, what can happen? Say, what happens in Google Scholar or what happens in other journal? They have papers of all publishing houses, Taylor Francis, Sage. So there is a high degree of overlapping. You would not be able to take a call. Say, if I am a research scholar, the first thing I'll do, Taylor Francis, very good. I'll sit on Taylor and Francis and I'll select articles from 2010 till 2023.
Okay.
I'll do my work, complete. Then someday else, next day I'll sit on Sage. I'll search for articles from 2010 to 2023, done. Next day again, I'll not sit together on all these on single day. See, even searching papers and articles take time. It is not something which you would be able to do it in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It will
Sir, if I can just
take you
bring
time.
up another point, just nowadays we come across some things like AI tools. AI tools are there. So how is it allowed to use AI tools?
See, AI tools, if you are using to select articles, it is okay. If you are, I would request somebody to please switch off their mics. Please switch off your mics. See, AI tools you can always use for sorting. See, I have not used it, to be very frank. But yes, there is no point now. Actually, titles, if you read now, you will have a feel. You will be able to take a better call. What criteria will you will put in titles then? You cannot just stick to certain words now. See, I have just shared a link for Zotero. This is a small video. This is a very small video of 8 minutes or 8.5 minutes. So it is a self-learning thing. It is free of cost, 8 minutes 47 seconds. You just copy this, keep it with you. After the class is over, whenever you are free today, before, better you register onto all those databases also. Then you go on Zotero. Then it would be more effective for you. Register on Sage, register on Taylor Francis, register on all. Keep the same ID and password. And then just go through this video. Excellent video of Armux of 8 minutes, 8.5 minutes. In one go, you will learn Zotero. See, you don't need to learn both. Either you use Mendeley, either you use Zotero. Zotero is more user friendly. It is more user friendly. What you will find that somebody who's using Mendeley and Zotero both now, in today's time, people will prefer Zotero because it is more easy to learn and it is directly linked. Just like you have Lizrel, there is a software known as Lizrel and there is a software known as Smart PLS. Lizrel is more complicated to use. It is less user friendly. So when I compare between Zotero and Mendeley, I find Zotero as more user friendly for any fresher, any learner in one go. And technically, you need to know only one. You can always use Mendeley, you can use Zotero. It is your choice. But Zotero is more user friendly.
Sir, is there any specific software for literature review like Navigo and all?
No software for SLR technically. There are softwares for bibliometric analysis.
Okay, because
Not for
many
SLR.
times I've seen meta-analysis using Navigo.
No, the NVivo and QD minor is something else. See, when you are actually going ahead for qualitative analysis, then we use NVivo or QD minor.
Acha, sir. Hello.
These are qualitative analysis tools.
So,
Yes,
is there any method to check whether the questionnaire that we have prepared is correct or not?
Yes, yes,
Is
there are two basic things which you have to do.
yeah,
Suppose you have made a questionnaire. Very simple.
yeah.
You have made a questionnaire. First thing what you should do is go for something which is known as, first you do repeat on your own that everything is okay or not. Then you go for something which is known as face validity. Once you have done face validity, you go for something which is known as at least content validity. If you are able to do those things, you will come down to a good questionnaire. Suppose I'll give you a very small example. You have written 100 questions. Once you do force validity, you remove 20 questions
It
and you
is
come down
it
to
is
80
known
questions.
as force validity.
Not face and content validity, not force
Acha.
validity.
Yeah, face.
And then when you do content validity, you come down to something which is, suppose, it depends, 65 questions. So you do your work on 60. So you finally have 65 questions. तो आपको
Okay.
पता you should be doing these two things.
Okay.
At least face validity तो mandatory है, but in today's time we expect all researchers to do face validity as well as content validity before going ahead for their questionnaire.
Okay.
See, once you do a proper literature review,
Yeah.
you come across hundreds of paper. You by default get a confidence what is happening, what is the research work, what methods they are, what. अगर आप SLR करेंगे तो you would be able to make a questionnaire also in a good manner.
Yeah.
It is the backbone of your research. It is the starting pillar of your research. Without going ahead with an SLR, or rather, just for your convenience, I am using this word. Before doing a proper literature review, how you can go ahead with other things, I am unable to understand. And if you have gone ahead, please come back, spare some time, do a proper literature review. Maybe it will take you 1 month, 2 months extra, but don't do a mistake of just running ahead.
This SLR trend has come in recent years, I think. Before there was no
Yes,
SLR.
SLR publications are actually easy. Getting your, see, I'll give you a very blunt statement. If you have chosen a topic where there is no SLR which has been done, if you have chosen a topic where there is no SLR which has been done, there is a high degree of chance that your article might be accepted for publication. So your scope of publication is also accepted, na? If you will see, I have shared a document, madam, I have shared a document from a journal in which they have clubbed the recent literature reviews or SLR papers which have been published in 2022 and 21 and 23.
Okay.
It talks about almost, I have already shared with madam, I think it talks about 75 journal articles.
I've shared it to the group.
All those 75 journal articles are literature review papers. Almost all of them have done critical literature review. And the citations are also available. You can just go through it. Even my paper is as a sample paper.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, for PhD thesis, actually this doubt, I actually raised this question to my friends also. For PhD thesis, we can go and identify the gap from the papers or only from the thesis.
No. I would request you to kindly repeat your question, please.
So for identifying the gap, we can use the papers, right, for thesis.
Yes.
Okay.
If
Is there any number of papers we have to review for thesis?
If you have done a good work, maybe you have not given it a name as SLR, still it will be accepted.
Okay.
So
Sir,
should we?
one more doubt, sir. When we are proposing, when the proposal has been asked, so how many papers should be reviewed?
There was one doubt. Many people, in fact, it is good that you have asked this question. Somebody might ask me, sir, how many papers? How many papers should be included in SLR? So I have seen papers with 34 papers also. The other paper which I have shared, I think it is having 55 or some number of papers. So there is no number as such. It is years. It talks about years of publication. How many years you have covered? 10 years. In fact, there is another paper which talks about a century, which is from last 70 years. So it can be 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I have shared another paper from a faculty of IIT Roorkee. Let me just cross check how many papers they have used.
Sir,
I think they have.
Sir, this thing regarding these years, if the topic is a fast moving area like maybe IT area, then maybe it is better to include
then
the
it
5
is
years.
better. Then it is better you take 5 years or something like that.
Yes.
When you are talking about literature reviews, even if you are using papers, should we use other thesis? You can use other thesis for literature review papers, but those should be Shodh Ganga. I'll avoid. I will avoid because then again, it depends from where they are passing. Then it would become a good, big criteria. Say if there is if there is a thesis which you find which is very similar to your work, and that thesis is from say IIT Kanpur, so better you search the name of the author and see what publications he or she has done, and then try to use that. I would recommend that. I will not recommend directly because then it would not be possible to do a systematic literature review in by having thesis also. So better you stick only to journal articles. That too, in order to have limited papers or limited study, restrict yourself to Scopus and Web of Science.
Okay, sir.
In fact, in management,
So
I would
they,
say Scopus, Web of Science, and some rare cases you will find certain journal articles which are ABDC and not Web of Science or Scopus. So these three are more than enough. इससे ज़्यादा करने का जरूरत नहीं. In fact, you
so
should
there
not
are
read
no
papers
any
below this.
fixed numbers.
Yes, please.
No, ma'am, there is no
There is
fixed.
no any fixed number.
There is no
Okay.
fixed numbers. Say some you might come down to 66 papers, you might come down to 54 papers, you might come to 78 papers. It depends. It depends. You just need to prove that these are. But please remember, when you are selecting these papers, you should not ignore important papers which are related to you. In order to have a lesser number of papers, if you have this shortcut, I will delete the papers which are important. No, don't do that. Keep all the papers which are important. Then only your acceptance would be high. Because if you have, suppose you have selected 76 papers and you have sent the journal article to be published, and I am the reviewer, the first thing which I'll do, I will search whether similar paper have been published or not. If not, I will just type similar keywords and I find a very good journal article in last 2-3 years which have been published. I check. When I'm checking, I find that that particular journal has not been cited. I check another article again that has not been cited. I will reject your paper and I'll directly write on your email that the recent publications in last 5 years in top journals have not been included. Kindly relook into the article again. I will not accept it in one go. So do not ignore good articles. That is something where you have to put in efforts. See, it is time taking, no doubt. But it is worth putting effort.
Patience testing also.
Patience testing, you will understand whether
Yeah.
you are a true PhD scholar or not. Hey, how to identify good articles? It is very simple. That is why I have set certain standards. Now, those journals should be listed in any of these three: Scopus, Web of Science, and ABDC. If it is listed, even if you do not want to go for ABDC, but I would suggest maximum journals. So only search for Scopus and Web of Science first. Here you can have certain overlapping because some journals are both Scopus and Web of Science listed, or say both Scopus, Web of Science, and even ABDC listed. So you will have some overlapping, little bit of overlapping. So you have to identify those overlapping through Zotero, and you can delete those. So same article might be downloaded thrice. So you can just search through author list. एक बार में पता चल जाएगा. Year and author list. Year and author list. In one go, you will be able to come to know if this paper has been downloaded 2 times or 3 times, and you can remove it. Is it clear to others, all of you? Anything else? And if you want to know about OERs, just wait. I think I was having some document of OER. Just wait. If I am able to have that document of OER of different countries, I will just share it with you so that you don't have to search for the links of OERs. OERs example, OER assignment. Yes, I think I am having one.
Sir, we have not touched our main topic, bibliometric analysis. How it can be done?
Just a second, madam. Just a second. I have got that document. Assignment 2 on OER. Just a second. See, bibliometric analysis, in fact, I told you earlier that it would not be possible for me to do it online. In fact, I am sharing a interesting material with all of you, which many of you might not be having. It is consisting of all the links of OERs of world. आपको ये खोजना ही नहीं पड़ेगा. I'm just sharing it. Just wait. Shall I? Can anyone just share an email ID? I'll just share it immediately.
Sir, I'll just.
Just type an email ID. I'll share that file on your email ID
Just we
immediately.
can put it on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, put it on the
Okay,
WhatsApp
okay,
group,
okay.
sir.
I'll just share it. Just wait. I will share it with madam, and she can just share it. Just a second. Because in 2018, 17, 18, I visited New Delhi, NIPA. When I visited NIPA on a special session on OERs, so I was shocked that unnecessarily we are like wasting our time and we are searching here and there. There are such good databases. In fact, I was knowing about this Taylor Francis, Sage, HBR much before I was using, but I was not aware about this OERs. And these are so good, and it will not only help you, it will help you in deciding your topic also. You can cross check with similar keywords which you are having in your mind. So, if you are doing a research on a topic, you can just cross check on these OERs what past researches have been done, so you can have a good idea. In fact, it can give you a great idea with respect to your topic. So I would always suggest to at least search your topics. Everyone, in fact, everyone. Even if you have gone ahead, you might be able to get something interesting from the current OERs. Just give me a second. I think it would be. It has come to my email ID. By the time I am sharing these, anything else?
Sir, while writing the chapter 2 in the thesis, so should we specify from each of the journals how many articles we have got?
See in a thesis, generally people do not write the names, but they would write that you have gone across for literature review. You have touched upon 175 research articles. 175 research articles. I'll just give an example. The articles and 17 websites and 34 past thesis and say 13 reports. It is always suggested. If you write, nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in writing that. It tells that you have done good work. After doing good work, what is the point of hiding? If I have done genuine and good work, why would I not let people know that I have done a good work? So many people would be doing it. Madam, I have just shared the OER link on your email ID. I would request once the session is over, please do share with everyone on their WhatsApp group. And in fact, there is an assignment also there. If you wish, you can do that assignment. You will understand how to select a topic from OERs. I have just shared it on the email ID mentioned above, which is studyleaplearning@gmail.com. Anything else? And if you are facing a difficulty in searching articles now, See, I also do not have all the access, but I have our library is having several access. So if you are looking forward for something, you can just share me the DOI of the paper, and if I am able to find it, I'll mail it to you.
Sky Hub is also there.
Sky Hub is always there for anything which is before 2019. See, I'll give you a small example. I am currently acting as a reviewer for certain journals of Emerald, IGI, PLOS, even Taylor and Francis. So what these people do now, they give me free access to their journals for 3 months. So right now I am having an access of Emerald. So 40 journals which are even paid, I can download. So it depends. So if I am able to be of any help, that would be of I would be happy for that.
It is a great opportunity for everyone to encash it, sir. Because
I
just
hope people are understanding SLR, and my personal suggestion to all of you would be, whatever stage you are, if there is no SLR paper on your topic, go ahead with an SLR. Write an SLR paper. If an SLR paper is there, then think for something which is meta-analysis. If a meta-analysis paper is already there, then drop the idea. Go ahead with your thesis and publish publications from your main analysis and other things. But SLR and meta-analysis, these are easy takeaways. There is higher chance of publication if your work has not been published before. If you have chosen a good topic, a unique topic on which work has not been published, please do choose SLR papers also.
sir, is there any fixed Excel format for doing literature review?
No. That is why I gave you 2 sample papers. Now there is no fixed work, but the table needs to be there. And the paper which I have given you, that document of 73 articles and their findings, you can just go to the DOI of all those. You will find almost all of them use a tabular approach to show, so-called a Prisma approach, which tells that how I have actually gone ahead with selecting the papers. That is the basic standard format.
Sir, is there any rule that we should stick to a particular geography while writing a thesis, or you should use any topic?
No, it depends. If I am doing a work on India, in India, I will only search papers which are from India.
Because what I'd been into another FDP, and what I learned over there, that if you write a geographic boundary over there, there are less chances to get acceptance in any good international university.
Again, it depends. It depends. It is purely dependent on your topic. Suppose my topic is, why do Indian people leave their job? If my topic is why Indian people leave their job, I will only do a study across the world, but only on Indians. So in my search, I will choose India. Or if I write, why do people leave their job in India, I will stick to India. But if my topic is only employee turnover, general topic, then I'll do it while then I'll not keep a boundary. Again, it also depends on the topic which you are choosing. If I am doing a study that say emotional intelligence amongst corporate people or amongst faculties in India, the moment I am writing India, I think I should suggest to I will be reading papers of international level also, but I will be only using papers which have been published in context of India and doing SLR on that. But of course, whenever you are doing research, please do not be bounded by a geographical area. But when you are doing an SLR, if you are strictly doing a study only in a particular geographical area and there are papers available, then there is no point doing. Then you can have 2 SLRs, one for India and one for globe.
Yeah. So the session is open for everyone. If anyone is willing to ask any question to sir.
Please give your email, sir, in the chat box, if possible.
Yes, Mr. Terence, I'm unable to hear you. Please.
So it is there, nitesh.bhatia.
I'll type it again. I'll type it again for everybody's convenience. Is it fine?
Yes.
So, happy learning. I'll everyone again
Thank you.
not to be disheartened. Do not run away from a good literature review, because once you do a good literature review, you will gain that confidence. By default, you will start loving your topic. You will be able to identify gaps. You will be able to modify your objectives, develop a questionnaire or an interview. Even that will help you to understand what tools others have used and how to write a paper. So all those things is always going to be fruitful. Do not run away from it and be patient. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Anyone willing to say anything to sir or ask any question? Yes, recordings will be shared. We are recording the session. We'll be sending it to the WhatsApp group. Besides that, if anyone has any question, otherwise we'll be ending the session, because we have taken more than 2.5 hours or so. Any questions? Thank you, sir. It will be great if people will be writing their experience in the chat box. Or thanks to sir.
Thank you, all of you. Have a nice time.
Thank you, NITESH sir. Thank you very much. Thank you for sparing your time every time I ask you. Thank you very much. And thanks to all the participants who are there in the session, enjoying the session, or kept the session on mute even. Thank you for being with us. Thank you very much. We are ending the session right now. We'll be sending the certificates and recording very soon. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.